Afghanistan as well, and I know that the Secretary has talked a little bit about this. He had mentioned a possible resurgence of al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, but I'm wondering if he is concerned that we could have a similar situation to what we saw in Iraq and Syria in 2011 to 2014 with the Islamic State. Could we see something similar to that in Afghanistan? And how are we better prepared to deal with that kind of threat today than we were, say, 8 years ago?
The Secretary has said that given the rapid collapse of the Ghani government and the rapid ascendancy now to power of the Taliban, that he believes it would be prudent to reassess his previous assessment of a medium risk in terms of the return of al-Qaeda or al-Qaeda affiliates in Afghanistan to a level commensurate with, an ability to threaten the homeland the way they did in 2001. That doesn't mean that we don't already recognize, and we have recognized, that they do exist in Afghanistan, and then they do continue to pose a threat, but a threat rising to the level of a possible attack on the homeland. So he believes that given recent events, we need to reassess what our view is in terms of how and to what degree they could reemerge at that level. And then your second question, and we've talked about this quite a bit. I mean, we are not the same country that we were on 9/11 in terms of our ability to defend ourselves from these kinds of attacks. The intelligence communities are much more networked now and coordinated, and we have far more capability in space and in cyber and in certainly in the aviation realm than we did in 2001 to try to keep eyes on and to be able to gather and analyze intelligence. We also have just better kinetic capabilities than we have. We didn't have in 2001 anywhere near the unmanned aerial capability that we have now. So we have advanced a lot. It doesn't make you perfect. It doesn't mean that you don't still have to work hard to make sure that you get it right. But we have definitely advanced our CT capabilities around the world.
I guess I was asking about the lessons learned by the growth of the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria in the in-between period. U.S. troops largely left around 2011, and there was that period that the Islamic State grew, metastasized, and they took over a huge swath of territory, including Mosul. So I'm wondering if there are any lessons learned in that fight that we could apply to Afghanistan so we don't end up with a similar situation.
Well, we're certainly going to stay vigilant, watching the threat in Afghanistan. There's no question about that. And as I said, the Secretary believes it's prudent to reassess what we think we know about al-Qaeda and ISIS in Afghanistan and where they might go. I would tell you that as we speak today, when you talked about the metastasization of a threat, we have seen it metastasize outside of Afghanistan to other places. You mentioned Iraq and Syria, but also Yemen, Somalia, the Levant. We do not hold there to be an existential threat of terrorism from Afghanistan right now. But again, we're going to stay vigilant. We're going to watch it, and we're certainly going to be willing to reassess what we know today. We do have the capability to keep eyes on.
If I could, just one quick follow-up. Any future military action inside of Afghanistan would be done under the authority of the existing 2001 AUMF, correct? That's the authority that you would be using? The 2001 AUMF exists. We would like to see a new AUMF written to address the kinds of threats that we face now. I'm not going to talk about specific authorities for any specific military action that might or might not occur there or anywhere else. But again, the Secretary is supportive of the administration's approach to seek a new and more accurate, more clearly defined AUMF. Dave?
Is this reassessment of the threat from Afghanistan, is this a formal reassessment or just people rethinking?
He has not tasked a formal reassessment. He believes it's warranted.
So does that mean there's going to be one?
Yes. Tom?
Thanks, John.